Hey guys, it's David Chang, skinnier stunt double Tombox here. The final YCS of 2025 has concluded, and if you missed the stream of YCS Pittsburgh, don't worry, I'm going to condense everything you want to know in under 10 minutes. Our coverage will include the winner, the top 8 deck list, top 32 deck range, some new trending floodgates, and some buzz around the topic of whether or not Top Cut is too steep. We're revisiting that topic apparently, and there's also the double game loss etiquette that some people are really not happy about. Alright, so with that and more, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit subscribe, ding that notification bell if you guys want to see more of these condensed YCS summaries. First of all, shout out to our winner, Aditya. Congratulations on your YCS win. Not only have you won a WCQ, runner-up at WCQ, participated at Worlds twice, now you also have the YCS win under your belt, so congratulations. Truly living the Yu-Gi-Oh dream. Now here's your top 8 representative post-Swiss. Of course, we already know that Aditya won and John Wilkin still ended up, rank 1 and 2, still ended up playing rank 1 and 2 as the finals. But here's all their deck lists. Here's the first place deck list from Aditya, and this is a deck list of branded Dracotail where it did not opt in to play the Fallen and the Virtuous from the new Chronicles deck. But he went for a more solid game plan toward his Dracotail plays, and it definitely paid off. And his side deck with more Bestials and all of the Mulcharmies definitely paid off in dividends and earning the solid title of a YCS champion. And in second place, we have John Wilkin piloting Mitsu. A very solid performance overall, and unfortunately he suffered a little bit of breaking issues near the end where you had the exodia of bricks, but your performance all the way through made it to the finals and representing the last Mitsurugi that made it past quarterfinals. So shout outs to you, John Wilkin. Well done, you'll get him next time. In third place, it's Mutasim Mallick using branded Dracotail. He was Aditya's semi-final opponent and ultimately lost in a 2-1 victory for Aditya. But in the game where he did win, he highlighted Dragon's Mind, the counter trap that really shut Aditya out so that it forced it into a game 3. In fourth place, there's Nicolas Colella, which was John Wilkin's semi-final opponent, and this particular deck opted to play the Blazing Cartesia in the side and also play copies of the Fallen and the Virtuous, but there's not much more I can say as these deck lists are fairly similar. Now, 5th, 6th, and 7th place are all Mitsurugi, and all of them played slightly differently, with Joseph Reis at 5th place, playing more of a hand trap heavy build with a double set of Mulcharmies from Mulcharmy Fuelos and Mulcharmy Perulia all in the main deck. We are not seeing those common board breaker spells such as the Dark Ruler no more, nor is there the Forbidden Droplet, but just opting to play a very solid game, hand trap control against the opponent, and even in the sideboard it has a bit more respect for the Malice matchup with the Artifact Lance, yet making a return into this sideboard. At 6th place, we have Mitsurugi for Lucas Sacco. Now, this particular one's interesting because he actually showed off his entire deck list. He didn't change a single card because I already kind of featured it before, and it was essentially the same with the Dark Rulers and the Forbidden Droplets in the main board, and it still got him all the way there. So basically, he kind of played more or less with an exposed deck list. However, the sideboard was much more hand trap heavy in comparison and had a lot more focus to deal with the branded Dracotail matchup. 7th place, Logan Shepard. This particular build is much more heavy into the Mitsurugi package with Arimasa, Kusanagi, and the Futsu also all placed in here, maximizing on the Mitsurugi utility. However, that also pushed his deck over into the 43 card range, but it gives him all that extra utility that, still took him all the way to the top 8. At number 8, there's Deylan Pitkin playing Lunalights. This is the black sheep of the group. It's not going to be the branded Dracotail or the Mitsurugi. This is Lunalights. And if anyone's thinking, oh, they're going to be playing like a ton of going second cards, such as Heavy Poly in the main, or Book of Eclipse, or even like Triple Tactics Thrust, well, guess what? That is not there. Instead, we're going back to the classic, going back to the basics of playing hand traps. 15 hand traps in this particular deck, and all the Heavy Polys have been put back into the side. So it's kind of hard because if you're following old trends, you might have fallen into a false sense of security, and you know what? It definitely paid off, securing him a top 8 spot. With recent YCSs only really giving you coverage for the top 8, here are the top 32 deck spreads so that we can see what else was competing for those top spots that nearly had the same chances. So in the top 32 decks, we have branded Dracotail taking 9 slots, Mitsurugi taking 8, Malice taking 4, Lunalights taking 2, and Mitsurugi Pure taking 2. As for the remainder that only take 1 slot each, we have Sofa Core Yummy taking 1, Dracotail Pure taking 1, Sky Strikers taking 1, K9 Vanquish Soul taking 1, K9 Crystron taking 1, K9 Dracotail taking 1, our little K9 friends right here, and then we also 1 Gem Knight taking 1 slot here, so that's the top 32 spread. Now, on the floor of YCS Pittsburgh, there seems to be a bit of a floodgating trend, shouting like, hey, Konami, you guys missed some of these floodgates, but did they really? So starting off with Spell Canceller, of course, is a hard sack open, and it's one of the meanest things you can do to someone as it counters most of the spell cards that people use to kind of counter your play. Then there's also Kawaki Meru Drago, which is summoned out from Hermetic Seals of Heavenly Spirit. Just tag out, summon out this monster, and your opponent's locked out from Light and Dark, which was quite significant, especially for Yummy, who needs to play both of these attributes. Shutting that out definitely hurts. And then there's also, this is a strange one, the Incantation Bookstone, where if this card's on the field, you can't special summon from the extra deck. However, you give it to your opponent. Being a level 5, it's something that you can revive with Imperial Princess King Query, and you give it to your opponent. I don't know how they actually do it, but ultimately I think it's not that great, as Droplet can tribute or send it to the graveyard. There's also Book of Eclipse that can flip it face down. There's also so many different ways. Even a plain little tribute summon could take care of this particular problem. But I guess for certain decks that can't answer this particular card, yeah, it can be very problematic. And one more Floodgate, the last barrier statue that did not get touched. Well, guess what? It's also making a little bit of a recurrence, such as going to Dracotail, and then they get to Dracotail, add 7 Tachyon, reveal Ragnar 0, add this card to hand, perform your whole combos, normal summon of this card, and we're back at where we started. It doesn't seem to have changed all that much, but did it really matter? As none of these particular techs have made it to the top 8. So, go figure. It doesn't seem to have mattered. Maybe these are just too niche to play at this particular level of a tournament. Now, post YCS Pittsburgh, there's been a bit of talk about whether or not the current YCS format is a bit too steep in terms of their top cut. It is very challenging to get there. And originally, the people that talked about this at the top level, these top level players, like, oh, it doesn't really matter. 97% of you guys aren't even going to make it to top 32, let alone top 8. Okay, well, some of these players are also kind of feeling it this time and maybe have to kind of backtrack their words a little bit, because they're getting affected as well, going X and O on day 1 or X1 on day 1, and then also losing in day 2. If you look at the positions of 9, 10, and 11, they have the same amount of points as the people in 2nd to 8th place after Swiss. That just goes to show how difficult it is to actually make top cut based on the current format, considering that there's no draws or anything, which is a great thing. There's something that we can praise Konami for, which is getting rid of draws overall, so that people can't, secure spots by, intentionally drawing, which is great, because that's a problem that no one could really fix. But looking into how people are doing now, going undefeated, like, what are you truly playing for afterwards? Like, you lost so much of your time on the event that even on public events, a lot of the best events you don't even get a chance to participate in, and ultimately you're playing for the prizing of the things of most value. Here would likely be the accommodation and the Steam Deck. I get that there's also metal dice, but these are like stuff that you can just get manufactured, and they're not that expensive, and everything else are just cards which Konami has complete printing control over. So you guys let me know whether or not, it's even worth it to continue to fly into these events when it's just so steep and your chance of winning is just so low. Like, what are you truly playing for in these things? Let me know down in the comments section as well, because this discussion is huge. Now, another thing to talk about here is, so the opinion of double game loss in time is now slowly shifting, as previously it was praised as a way to deal with losing in time because you got burned by a burn card effect, giving all those burn effects a significant advantage, causing cards to get banned due to this particular policy. However, this has introduced new problems for the players playing in premier events. Now, at the local level, most people actually did not care if they took a double game loss there, because how many packs are you really playing for? How much prize pool are you playing for? But at a YCS, it's different, where people have to fly in. There's plane tickets, there is housing, and all of those things are adding up to your expenses. So not only do they not want to lose, they also don't want you to win, creating these very salty players that you might have to play, especially in these grind games, making it a bit of a lottery when you play against a grind game player. Are they going to grind the game to the ground? And some players have experienced those players that do want to grind it to the ground and experience a loss, and ultimately ruin their entire run and taking away their chance at making the top cut. So it doesn't matter whether you're nice to the player or not. I mean, sure, it could factor in a little bit, but ultimately the choice is up to them. And if they don't feel like letting you win, or maybe they want their friend to have a better placement by taking you down with them, this is something that can occur, which is very strange. And this is things that people are voicing out. Is this an ongoing problem? Did you guys personally experience something like this? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Is that a problem in the tier 3 event of just getting, you know, double losses from these grindy players? And that should sum it up for YCS Pittsburgh. Final note, Genesis, I think the top decks were Onomat, Utopia, Radiant Typhoon, Punk, and Art Mage. I think those are the top performing decks, I think, among the top 8. But that's all I have for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button, hit subscribe, ding that notification bell. Hopefully that was all under 10 minutes. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.